hundreds of beautiful books have appeared in the West. Since a very strange man, D.T. Suzuki, introduced Zen to the West, he did a pioneer job, but he was not a Zen master or even a man of Zen. He was a great scholar, and his impact went over all the countries. To the intelligentsia, immediately he had a great appeal. And as the old religions are crumbling, particularly in the West, Christianity is just a name. The empire is crumbling. They are trying to hold it, but it is not possible. It is falling apart, and a vacuum is growing every day, bigger and bigger, like an abysmal depth which creates nausea. Japan Sartre's book Nausea is very significant. Once you see the bottomless pit, this meaningless life, you are utterly arbitrary, unnecessary, accidental. You lose all dignity. And for what you are waiting, there is nothing to wait for. Only death. This creates a great anxiety that we are worthless. Nobody needs us. Existence is careless. At that very moment, D.T. Suzuki appeared on the horizon in the West. He was the first man to talk about Zen in the Western universities, colleges, and he attracted immensely the intelligent people because they have lost faith in God. They have lost faith in the Holy Bible. They have lost faith in the Pope. Just today, almost a dozen German bishops have come to a declaration together that Pope is going beyond his limits. Now this is pure rebellion. That his continuous preaching against birth control is bringing humanity to a point where half of the world is going to die out of starvation. Pope should not be listened anymore. These 12 bishops in Germany have made a committee and they are collecting more and more bishops to rebel against the Pope, and they are declaring that he is not infallible. The whole history of bishops shows the popes and archbishops that they are fallible. So this whole idea of Pope being the infallible was making him an absolute dictator. Now it is intolerable. In the beginning of this century was the starting of a boiling up energy against all old religions, particularly in the rich countries of the West. Poor countries don't have time. They don't have even food enough, no nourishment. Their whole time is involved into food, into clothing, into getting a shelter. They can't discuss great problems of life. They can't even conceive. The question is food, not God. That's why it is so easy to convert poor people into Christianity just by providing food, just by providing shelter, service. But they are not converted to the Christianity. They are simply not concerned about God. They are not concerned about any system of beliefs. Their basic thing is they are hungry and starving. When you are hungry and starving, you don't think of God. You don't think of hell and heaven. You think the first thing is where to get some bread and butter. And if anybody gives you bread and butter with the condition that you have to be a Catholic, you will agree, rather than dying out of starvation. So poor countries are becoming more and more Catholic, more and more Christian. But in the West itself, Christianity is losing its hold. Not more than 25% people attend the churches. 75% people are completely disappointed. And those 25% are mostly women. And for a particular reason, that is the only place where you can gossip and meet all other women and see who has got better clothes, better fur coats, better jewelry, a better car. The church is the only club where the women are accepted. All other clubs are boys' clubs, where old boys talk about women but don't allow women in. Even in parties, as the dinner is complete, the women retire to a separate room and leave the boys alone because they will be drinking and shouting and fighting and talking all kinds of nonsense which they cannot in front of women. They feel a little embarrassed. So women retire. And this is good. Women have their own gossiping. Who is falling in love with whom? Let the boys do their work. The old girls are doing their work. The church is the only place which all the religions have allowed women to gather. Otherwise, they are boycotted from every other social congregation. They cannot be members of many organizations, many clubs. They are all male oriented. The woman's area, her territory is the home. She has to be confined in that territory. So the church was the only outlet. they wait for the Sunday. These 25% are women, or few male may be there who cannot leave their wives alone out of fear. And few male may be there to find out a new girlfriend. But this is nothing to do with religion. D.T. Suzuki appeared in the West with a new approach to existence. And he appealed because he was a man of great scholarship, profound scholarship. And he brought to the Western mind a totally new concept of religion. But it remained a concept. It remained an argument in the mind, but it never went deeper than that. A parallel exists in China. Before Bodhidharma appeared in China, China was already converted to Buddhism. Bodhidharma went there 1400 years before. But Gautam Buddha's philosophy and religion has reached there 2000 years before. 600 years before Bodhidharma went there. In these 600 years, scholars converted the whole China into Buddhism. And in those days, it was very easy to convert the whole country. You simply convert the emperor. And then his whole court gets converted. Then his whole army gets converted. Then his whole bureaucracy gets converted. And when the emperor and the whole bureaucracy and the army and all the so-called wise people of the emperor's court are converted, masses simply follow. Masses have never decided anything for themselves. They simply look at the people who proclaim themselves great in power, in intelligence, in riches. If these people are converted, the masses simply follow. So in those 600 years, thousands of Buddhist scholars reached to China, and they converted the China, the emperors, the governors. But it was not the true message of Gautam Buddha yet. Although China has become Buddhist, but Buddha has not appeared yet. Bodhidharma was sent by his master, who was a woman. That scholars have prepared the way. Now you go. You are immensely needed there. Bodhidharma was the first Buddha to enter China and brought a totally different vision, not that of the mind, but of no mind. The West is absolutely ready for a Zen Manifesto. Intellectually, D.T. Suzuki, Alan Watts, and many others. We will be discussing each one. They have done They have prepared the road. Now only a Bodhidharma is needed. Only a Gautam Buddha is needed, or a Mahakashyapa. Someone whose Zen is not only a philosophy, but an actual experience of no self. Actual experience of entering into nothingness. And once you enter into nothingness, you will be surprised that it is nothing to be afraid of. This is your real home. And now you can celebrate, because there is nothing more than this mystery, that nothingness opens all the doors. As long as you are confined by the self, the very idea of separation with existence keeps you miserable. You have to find ways, and these ways can be found easily only when you have somebody who has already traveled the path, who knows that nothingness is not something empty. By disappearing, you are not really disappearing. You are becoming the whole. From this side, it looks like you are disappearing. From that side, it looks you are becoming the whole. Just ask a dewdrop. I have told you about Kabir. When he first entered into this nothingness, he immediately wrote a beautiful poetry in which comes the sentence, "The dewdrop has fallen into the ocean." His own sentences are very beautiful. Herat, Herat, He Sakhi, Raya Kabir Hirai. O my friend, my beloved, I had gone to search, to seek myself. But something strange has happened. Rather than finding myself, I have disappeared, just like a dewdrop disappearing in the ocean. Bund samani samund mein, sokat heri jai. The dewdrop has disappeared in the ocean. Now how you can find the dewdrop again? That was his first experience. As he became more and more aware of the ocean and forgot all about the dewdrop, before dying, he called his son Kamal. And he was certainly a man rightly named by Kabir. Kamal means a miracle. And the son of Kabir was certainly a miracle. He called Kamal and said to him that I am going to leave my body soon. Before I leave, you have to correct one of my poems. Just a little change. I have written Bund Samani Samund mein. The dewdrop has entered into the ocean. You have to change it. Just reverse it. Samund Samana Bund mein. The ocean has disappeared into the dewdrop. Because now I know from the other side. My first experience was from this shore. Now I am talking from the further shore beyond. Now I know the dewdrop has not fallen into the ocean. It is the ocean that has fallen into the dewdrop. Kamal said to him, I have always suspected that line. I can show you my copy. And he showed, he has crossed that line. Kabir said, you are really a Kamal. You are a miracle. You came to know it before me. The line was crossed. Kamal said, I was suspicious from the very beginning that this is a statement of a beginner. The first statement, when he comes to see the nothingness. But when he becomes nothingness, this statement will be absolutely wrong. So now you have come to your senses. Just before dying, I can rejoice that you are no more just a beginner. You have become part of the whole. He wrote the new line. The ocean has fallen into the dewdrop. I said to you that Kabir has named his only son Kamal a miracle because the young man was certainly not an ordinary man. At a point, even Kabir was angry with him. Because he used to raise questions which even Kabir could not answer. And this was happening always when thousands of Kabir's followers will be there, his own son will stand up. And make him feel very embarrassed because he was not able to answer the question. In one day he was very angry. That must have happened before his enlightenment. And he said to Kamal, Budha bans Kabir ka, my family ends with you, Kamal. He is meaning the same by my family as Zen people call their heritage, their family, their masters. They are not talking about their parents. Kabir said, my family ends with me. I cannot trust you. Kamal said, if you cannot trust me, you cannot trust yourself. But because you have disowned me by saying this statement, I will not be staying in your cottage. I am going to make a small hut just in front of you. So when gullible people come to you, when they are going back home, I will deprogram them. And he remained just in front of Kabir's house. And because everybody knew he's Kabir's son, so before leaving Kabir, they will go to pay tribute to his son also. Even the emperor of Varanasi was a devotee of Kabir. Kabir was a poor man, a weaver. And the emperor of Varanasi asked one day, when he could not see Kamal for few days, he was coming almost every day to listen to Kabir. And he was watching that Kamal is missing. He asked Kabir, where is Kamal? Kabir said, it is a sad story. I was just angry and I told that my family ends with me. And he immediately left, saying that if your family ends with you, I no more belong to your family. He remains outside just in front, disturbing my disciples. He is a pain in the neck. Now he is gone out, so I cannot even say anything. But just he sits there. The emperor of Kasi said, Kasi is the older name of Varanasi. That I would go and see him. But what is your problem with him? Kabir said, thousands of problems. People come with money, diamonds, emeralds, and all kinds of valuable things, and I don't need them. So I refuse them. And he is just sitting by my side, tells those people, okay, if he is refusing, bring them to me. Anyway, it doesn't look good that you have come to offer and you are going rejecting. Offer to me. So I reject, and he goes on collecting. And I have told him that this is not right. But he said, you think about yourself. I know on my own account what is right and what is wrong. Don't tell me. I am not your disciple. I am your son. So the emperor said, don't be worried. I will go and see and check. So he brought with him a very big diamond and asked Kamal that I had brought this most valuable diamond in the country as an offering to you. He said, you can put it into the bamboos of my roof of the hut. If somebody does not take it away, it will remain there. Once in a while I can see that I have got the greatest valuable stone in my hut. I don't have much decoration here. The emperor thought that Kabir seems to be right. He is very clever and cunning. He is not taking it, but he is telling me, just put there if somebody does not take it away. I will enjoy it, seeing it. And as I will go out, he will take it. That is certain. So the emperor remained for 1 week, did not come. After 1 week he came and he asked Kamal, where is that diamond? Kamal said, if somebody has taken, then it will not be in the roof. Otherwise, it is bound to be in the roof. You had put it yourself, so you can find it easily. And I had not any opportunity to look at it. I am looking inwards and your diamond is outside. The emperor said, great, and he looked and found the diamond exactly where he has put in the hut. He told Kabir that you are in a misunderstanding. Your son is really a miracle. I was thinking that he is cheating me, deceiving me. But he has not even looked at the diamond. Not to say anything of touching it. He said to me, if anybody has taken, then I don't know, because I am looking inwards. So anybody can take it. There is no guard on the hut, there is no door. And sometimes I have to go to the Ganges to take a bath, and anybody can take it. So if it remains, you will find it. And I have found it, it was there. He has not even looked at it. So your whole idea is wrong. Your idea that he is interested in wealth is absolutely wrong. Finally, Kabir has to go to the hut and ask Kamal, forgive me, come back. I was wrong. You were just trying to test me that whether I get angry or not. And I certainly got angry. I thought it was your greed. Kamal said, I am your blood, your bones, your very marrow. How could you ever think that I should be greedy? And you became angry. And you exposed yourself that all your teaching of not to be angry, not to be greedy, was just superficial. It is not your concern if I am taking things, why you are interested. There must be some greed in you. Just as anger came up, your greed may come up any moment. If there was no greed in you, you would have simply witnessed that Kamal is taking things, that's all. It is Kamal's business to take care of his own being. It is not your business. I am not your disciple. I am a master on my own authority. And Kabir looked into himself and agreed to Kamal that perhaps you are right. My being interested and being angry that you are gathering money shows my greed, not your greed. Shows my anger, not your anger. And you left so joyously, touching my feet, that if you say your family ends with yourself, then a new family starts with me, just in front of you. Kamal was persuaded back into the family, and he was the successor of Kabir. Far more greater in man. Far more aware, alert, far more conscious. But strangely, Kabir is remembered. He has an organized religion behind him, Kabir Panth, the path of Kabir. Kamal has nothing. He never created any following, although hundreds of people listened to him, but he remained only a friend. He helped them, shared his light with them, but never was giving any discipline, any commandments, any principles to be followed. Once you know meditation, you don't have to follow anybody. You have your own eyes open and you have your light just ahead of you, showing the path. And choicelessly, all that is right and all that is good happens. It is not that you are doing it, you cannot do otherwise. 600 years in China, Buddhism was only an intellectual exercise, good gymnastics. But as Bodhidharma entered, he changed the whole idea about Zen. People were talking about Zen as if it is another philosophy. It is not. As if it is another religion. It is not. It is a rebellion against mind, and all your religions and philosophies are part of the mind. And this is the only rebellion against mind, against self. The only rebellion of withdrawing all the limits that imprison you and taking a quantum leap into nothingness. But this nothingness is very alive. It is life. It is existence. It is not a hypothesis. And when you take the jump, the first experience is you are disappearing. The last experience is you have become the whole. Few questions. The first question, why so many Western intellectuals being drawn to an examination of Zen? Because they are feeling a great vacuum. And they want to fill the vacuum. You cannot live with a vacuum. The vacuum is empty. And out of emptiness, life becomes sad, serious. And all the religions have been filling your vacuum with lies. Now those lies are exposed. Science has done much in exposing those lies, and great meditators, mystics have done tremendous work around the world in exposing all the lies of religions. The modern contemporary man stands in a strange position. The old has fallen, was a deception, and the new has not arrived. So there is a gap, an interval. And the Western intelligentsia is trying to find something which will not be again a lie, which will not only give you consolation, which will transform you, which will be a deep revolution in your very being. And Zen certainly is the right approach towards existence, the ultimate truth. Without believing into anything, without being a follower or a believer You simply enter into your own interiority. And you are entering into the immense nothingness of the whole. But it is the same nothingness from where you had come and to where you are going again. When the source and the goal become one, you will have a great celebration. In that celebration you will not be, but the whole existence will be participating. The trees will be showering flowers, and the birds will be singing songs, and the oceans and the rivers all will be rejoicing. The whole existence becomes your home. The moment your heart melts into the universal heart, that is where Zen is happening. In that melting into the universe, you are back to the original source. Fresh, eternal, timeless, spacious. The only thing needed is freedom from the self. That is the very essence of Zen. You have heard about many freedoms: political freedom, psychological freedom, economic freedom, and there are many kinds of freedom. But the ultimate freedom is Zen. Freedom from yourself. And that is not to be accepted as a belief. That has to be experienced. Only then you know. It is a taste. Anybody can describe that sugar is sweet, but if you have not tasted the sugar, the word sweet you hear, but you don't understand what is sweet. The only way is that somebody forces some sweet into your mouth,